What's up? What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? I hope everybody had a great Sunday. I don't know if you guys had to cook out, through some stuff on the grill, whatever. Happy Memorial Day weekend to you all. Shout out to the Soul Firm Entertainment for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you for the support. Mwah! Thank you. I did upload a members only video earlier today or yesterday. I did a haul from Fabletics, the company that carries the Yeti. Child, I'll explain to y'all that whole situation. Y'all go watch the video, child. Go watch the video. We will probably have a members only check-in tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so some point tomorrow we'll probably have a members only check-in. Anyway, hey Chris, what's up? Hey Bobo said throw the rest of this season away. It's boring. Hey Miss Queenie, Chris says the show is so boring, no entertainment. Throw it away. Oh my gosh. Hey T-Shawn, Amber, Sharice, Davina. Hey. Hey everybody coming in. Jay Parrish. Hey Jay Parrish. Enjoy your weekend on purpose. Thank you. Hey Montrez. Welcome. I hope everybody, as you come in, you are hitting the like button as you come in. Now, we will come back at 11 o'clock to talk about what Candy has said in her speak on it. I'm going to go ahead and do the review. I feel like the speak on it is going to probably be more entertaining than the review. Than the episode. But, baby, we're going to come back. Y'all know I don't have to go to work tomorrow, so I can give you a double dip tonight. So, we're going to come back at 11, and we're going to get into it. I'm not disliking the season. So, for the people that aren't enjoying it, I don't know, maybe I can do an open panel. Not tonight because I'm coming back at 11. But maybe I can do an open panel next Sunday and let you guys click the link and tell me what it is that you don't like about the season. Because I'm not really hating it. It is what it is, I guess, for me. I don't know. It is what it is. But I know some of these. Let me say this. It's not that I'm hating the season. I know some of these storylines aren't doing it for me. Let me say that. So maybe that's what it is for y'all. Hey, what's up, Blue Prada Shoes? Maybe it's the storylines aren't really doing a lot. I don't know. Because, like, this whole situation with Kenya and going to Magic City and performing at the halftime show, as somebody who went to an HBCU, I'm just not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So we open up this episode with Kenya practicing with Manyetta for her Magic City performance. And what she basically lets us know is this is an advertisement. This is her linking up with Magic City for Kenya Moore Hair Care. So her performing during the halftime show is an advertisement for Kenya Moore Hair Care. It's not like it doesn't sound like they reached out to her to perform. It sounds like she said, I had this great idea for, how to highlight Kenya Moore Hair Care. Now, I think they probably reached out to her to be in the parade, but I hate to be the one to tell you, child, HBCUs reach out to every black celebrity that they think they can afford to pay to come to be a part of homecoming or graduation ceremony. Like, we just gonna call a thing, okay? And, all colleges do that, but I'm saying, as an HBCU, we're gonna focus on the black folk, okay? So, I'm not saying that it's not an honor. I'm not trying to put it down. I'm just saying, girl, you're not performing at the halftime show down to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? They reached out to her. She's advertising her business. But, maybe I misheard the Cameron. I heard her say they reached out to her to be in the parade. And then she said for the halftime show, she thought it would be a great way to advertise her business. But either way, I'm going to be honest and tell y'all, if I was going to the Magic City Classic, which I have been to the Magic City Classic, I would tell you I'm not excited to see Kenya Moore at halftime. I'm just not. I don't care. And I know last week y'all told me, hey, Woo Child, I know last week y'all told me that she used to dance and she used to do this and do that. I don't care. I know if I'm sitting there, Cameron, I know what she said last episode. Okay. You believe her. So I guess that's what it is. You believe her. Okay. It's a positive thing. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, I don't know. Okay. Y'all, okay. I ain't saying it's a negative thing. I'm just saying I'm not excited about it. Let me put it that way. I ain't saying I'm just not excited about it. I think she was telling them that far as the parade, but that could be wrong. That's how I understood it, that they reached out to her for the parade, and then she parlayed it into a situation. Either way, she going to the Magic City Classic, child, and her and Mayetta are rehearsing. Um, and they let us know what Mayetta's resume is, and I like that because I think a lot of people only connect Mayetta to being married to Neo. So I like the fact that we're getting to know that she's got a whole career that has, that has spanned for years, and she's got her own thing going on. And I don't think a lot of people know that about her. So I love the fact that we got a chance to get that from her. We also found out that Kenya and her man are moving forward. They getting closer. He called and she was all blushing and stuff. And I'm here for it because I just feel like, Kenya has been unlucky in love. And so I'm here for any man that's going to treat her right and give her, reciprocate the feelings. So I'm here for that. Congratulations to you, Kenya. Congratulations to you. Um, Hey, Vintage. Hey, Cool Gamer. Hey, you guys coming in. Come on in. Come on in. So then we see Sonya with her mom and her sister. And we find out that, her brother-in-law is still her brother-in-law is still her assistant, at least in this scene. By the end of the episode, he's not, but in this scene he is. And she's going through what she needs to go through to, get her stuff done for her day. And then she just kind of throws it at her sister and her mom, like, well, Ross is ready for us to just be us again. I do feel like the way she did it, I do feel like the way she addressed it, I think was a bit insensitive. I think there should have been a family meeting where Ross was there. And they could have had a conversation. Because what she says later on in the episode is, I think she's upset that I wanted to put a hard timeline. But that's not what you said. And I know that the scene could have been edited, but from what we saw, that's not what you said to your sister. You just said, okay, so Ross is ready for it to be just the two of us again. It's been about a year. And your sister and your mother were both like, well, I thought we said 1 to 2 years. I feel like the same way you ask them to move in with you and give up everything is the same way you tell them, okay, because if you said anywhere from 1 to 2 years, it's been a year. So now you say, okay, we can already put ourselves on a 12-month plan or even a 10-month plan. Because from what I remember last year, you moved all of them down from New York, New Jersey. I'm not saying, I don't know whether they asked to come or not, but neither here nor there, you moved them down there. You asked them to move in with you. You gave them a 2-year window. So I feel like at this time, you owe them that. And it ain't like they moved to a different neighborhood. They moved down the coast. And your brother-in-law hasn't been able to find a job. That's why he's working for you. Well, no, that's not what they said. He's trying to get into real estate, and he hasn't been able to really crack the real estate field. And so that's why he's working for you. Your sister does your hair. So I feel like, excuse me, I feel like that could have been handled better. So yes, her sister feels some kind of way. Now, your mama probably don't feel as upset because you already said that your mom and your daddy they want to move down to Florida. So they probably don't feel too bad about it. They probably like, all right, well, we need to go down to Florida and make a couple of, find a couple of other places, and start working on that. But as for your sister and your brother-in-law, remember they have a child. They probably do feel some kind of way about it, And again, I'm not saying that you're wrong. You're absolutely right to want your house to yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But it's the way you do things. And I do think the way you did it, I don't like the way you did it. And if I was your sister, I feel some kind of way about it too. I don't think Sonya isn't being honest. I think she has asked him to move in because she is codependent and needs help with her son. Well, that's what they feel. they feel like, I think they feel used because, like they said in their confessional, when we're here, she doesn't have to worry about dudes. She doesn't have to get a babysitter. She doesn't have to have a nanny. She can move about the country as freely as possible and know that her son is going to be taken care of. Whereas once they leave, that's not going to be the case. But again, I feel like there's nothing wrong with you wanting your house back. It's just the way you do it, you know? And you could have sat down and, because first of all, why not have the conversation with them and say, hey, are you guys even interested in staying in Atlanta, or do you want to move back home? And if you're interested in staying in Atlanta, do you want to buy a house? Because we can help you guys get ready to do that. We can help you if you need to get your credit or you need a down payment or whatever. We can help you guys do that. Because again, what you don't want them to feel like you said, is it just, all right, y'all can get out now. If they want to move back to New York, then say, okay, do you guys need help with moving? Because I bet y'all paid to move them down. I bet you they didn't have to pay to move themselves down. Okay, do y'all need help moving y'all stuff back up to New York? Like, there's just a lot of different ways that could have been done. And I just think she was very callous in how she did it. And then she sat there and didn't understand why her sister responded the way she did. Child. That's the main reason, Karma. She hasn't had to worry about being independent for years because she was a track star prior. Because she's a user and that's the attitude we see with the family, she isn't being honest with the audience about her toxicity. Ooh. Pushing forward with T says, yes, I honestly think they were there to help her child and help around the house. I do agree the conversation should have been different. It seems like it was more of a get out now. Yeah, I mean, it was just, she just was like, all right, girl, so yeah, Ross is right. And then you put it off on Ross, which I don't think that's fair either to Ross. Because I understand that he was the one that sort of said it. But if you're going to support your husband, then support your husband. Say, listen, you guys, we need to talk to y'all. We are ready to put a plan in place. We said 1 to 2 years. We come to the end of the first year. Let's put a plan in place for the next 12 months. And I think that's fair. If there's no major fights, there's no major disrespect going on, I think it's fair that if y'all said a 2-year timeline, I think it's fair. And I think that's, we're halfway through. I think that's fair that we're halfway through, that now we have the conversation. Y'all know what I'm saying? Exactly, Miss B. Exactly. For you to say, well, Ross said this and Ross said that, now you're disconnected. So now you're supporting your husband because you're going along with what your husband said, but you sort of throwing him under the bus because you're not saying, hey, we've been talking and we think it's time for us to sit down and put a plan in place for the next 12 months because we agreed to 1 to 2 years. We're at the end of the 1 year. So for the next 12 months, we want to see what that looks like. You guys want to move back to New York. We want to put that plan in place so that, you guys are ready. Finding a place, getting an apartment. Finding a job. What do you need to do to get ready to move back up north? If you love Atlanta and you want to stay in Atlanta, all right, bam. Let's figure out what that's going to look like. You said your brother-in-law is in real estate. Him being your assistant isn't helping him get into real estate. Like, I'm sorry. I don't understand how him being your assistant is helping him get into real estate. Do you know people who are in the real estate field? Can you get him a job as an apprentice or working under somebody while they're still living with you and they don't really have the bills? He can afford to go work somewhere where he's not making a lot of money or where he's being an apprentice or where he's working off a commission. Whatever the situation is, there were just a lot of different ways that could have been handled. And I feel like Sonya chose the worst one. Okay. So then we see Marlo at her photo shoot, her Halloween photo shoot with her nephews, and Courtney shows up. So let me say this, y'all. This is what I can't stand. I don't like people who think I'm a mind reader. I don't like people who think that anybody is a mind reader. And I don't like when people compare what one person did to what the next person did not do. So what I mean by all of that is Marlo was talking about how ever since the break-in, she doesn't feel safe and she wants to get her rights back so that she can legally have a weapon in her home. Because right now she is a convicted felon for a violent offense. And so there's a whole process that you have to go through to get your record expunged, right? She was like, Yeah, Courtney put me in touch with somebody that could help me. Candy never volunteered to do that. Candy never offered to help me. She's so worldwide. She never offered to help me. First of all, you and Candy are not friends. Like, listen, you have done everything in your power to give Candy a hard time, damn near since you've been an affiliate on this show. Because you came on as Nene's friend. So you and Candy really have been at odds damn near the whole time you've been on this show. Y'all really haven't been friends. Now, y'all have had times when y'all get along. Y'all have had times when y'all have called a ceasefire, but y'all ain't never been friends. So why would Candy offer to help you get your record expunged? That is so out of left field. And Courtney, I don't even know the conversation that y'all had for Courtney to offer, but Courtney is a pick me. So whatever her reason is, she's doing it because she's trying to create moments, and for whatever reason, she's decided that Candy is her target. Maybe you had a conversation with Courtney about it, and maybe that's why Courtney was like, "Oh, girl, I can help you with that." But I've never, and y'all correct me in the chat, I have never heard Marlo express an interest on camera about wanting to get her record expunged. You and Candy ain't friends off this show. Now I do know at one point in time you and Candy. Let me rewind. Let me rewind. Let me rewind. I do know at one point in time you and Candy were cool enough that she tried to hook you up with your own show over to the WeTV. So I'm sorry. Let me take that back. Maybe at one point in time you and Candy were real cool. I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take that back. Let me rewind it. Let me rewind it. Let me rewind it. Maybe at one point in time you and Candy were cool because she tried to get you a show over on the WeTV. But then you turned the show down and basically left Candy sitting there looking crazy. But that's neither here nor there. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, why would Candy extend herself to help you, Miss I'm so rich, I know everybody. You're not in the rooms that I'm in. Marlo, you just got finished last season, and then 2 weeks ago on Jason Lee's podcast, you just got finished bragging about all of the rooms that you're in. I'm in. Candy isn't in the same rooms that I'm in. I mean, she might be worldwide, but if we would go to Paris, she wouldn't be where I am in Paris, and I'm in. I get fitted by like you. Again, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you so worldwide and you have access to so much more than Candy does, but then turn around and say Candy's never offered to help me do anything. I'm gonna just need y'all to make it make sense. I'm gonna need y'all to make up y'all mind. Right? Has Sheree or Nene, Sheree or Nene, Sheree or Nene offered to help? And let's be clear, girl, call you an attorney. I know you know one, and say what is the process? What do I need to do to try to get my record expunged because I want to be able to legally carry a weapon? Girl, girl. Then then we sat there and had to listen to her. And see, again, this is the other thing that Marlo do. Mm, Marlo want to add shit to the story to try to, I guess, increase the story or make the story sound. So now your nephew worked at Old Lady Gang. He met the guy that ended up shooting him while he was working at Old Lady Gang. And he was so proud of his time working at Old Lady Gang that was the picture from his funeral book that they put on there. He was so proud. That was from when he was working at the Old Lady Gang. Listen, y'all. I'm not taking anything away from her nephew and how he passed away, and I'm sorry to hear it. I'm not taking nothing away from that. But again, I say to you this, and I know Candy's going to get into it on her speak on it, so we're gonna revisit this when we come back and talk about Candy speak on it, because I saw the little clip, the little teaser she put out, and she bleeped out the dates when she played the teaser. But I know on the show she's going to probably talk about how long the nephew actually worked for her. And I'm not saying, I think that, we try to make things I'ma just wait and see how long the nephew worked for her because I feel like the nephew only worked for old lady gang. I don't think he was there that long. And even if he was, child, even if he had been there, let's just be clear. Even if he had been there, again, you're sitting here acting like now that was so horrible that she didn't send flowers or did what? I mean, what did you want her to do? Pay for the funeral because he worked for old lady gang? I'm sorry. I don't know. Again, I'm gonna wait for speak on it to go too deep into that because I don't know how long the nephew worked for Candy. But you really making it seem like this, and now all of a sudden the guy you didn't say none of that last week, but you done added to the story this week. And I know sometimes they film it out of sequence. That's fine. But now the guy that shot him, he met while he was working at old lady gang. Again, how was that Candy's fault? Right. Marlo can't get her record expunged in Georgia. She can only get it restricted. Well, the incident happened in Florida, so I don't know what the Florida laws are. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because we know that Marlo is a liar and Marlo be trying to do stuff. She be pulling stunts for TV. I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you, I'm not convinced that she hasn't already tried to get her record expunged, and she knows she can. Because let's be clear, this event happened 20 years ago. Anyway, next we see Candy going to, I mean, not Candy Lord, we see Sheree going to the OBGYN. The only thing that was great about this scene is that at least we know that there's more than two OBGYNs in the city of Atlanta. Because I swear, whenever these reality shows that live in Atlanta go to an OBGYN, it's either Dr. Jackie or Dr. Simone. So thank God that we got other black women gynecologists down to the city of Atlanta. Other than that, I don't give a damn about Sheree or her fibroids. Unfortunately, as black women, a lot of us deal with fibroids. It's not new. It's not a new situation. Okay, girl, she said that we can remove them or we can shrink them. Either way, she gave you the pros and the cons, and you talking about some. Oh, I can't be a woman. You say I can't exercise or have sex for 6 weeks. Oh, I like those are my two favorite things to do. Girl, well, listen, you got a choice then. You got three options. You can keep them there and you can keep dealing with whatever you're dealing with from them fibroids, or you can deal with what the doctor told you. Listen, those are your options, girl. Those are your options. No, Candy was not on tonight's episode. She had a prior engagement, but she is coming out with a speak on it. She already dropped the teaser for the speak on it. I think she's going to mainly be addressing last week's episode, but she's going to talk about it. Why would Marlo have a weapon in her when her nephews live with her? Child, listen, don't get me started on people with weapons, child. I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole, but that's a valid question. I thought you could only get nonviolent felonies expunged. Janetta, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. I know a lot of that goes state by state, so I don't know. That sounds about right. I mean, but I honestly don't know. I don't know. Not Sheree can't afford Jackie or Simone. Ooh. Ooh. Mm. Mm. Then we have another unnecessary scene where Sonya is talking to her parents about her sister being mad, and I feel like we already dealt with that, child. I feel like we done already moved on from that. Her father talking about something. I can have to step it up, child. She said you don't even know how to send an email, child. That's like my daddy. My daddy, I don't even think my daddy know what his email is. I have to log him into his email. And the only time he check his email is if he orders something and he want to see when the package is coming or something like that. Child, my dad don't know nothing about his email, child. He don't know nothing about his email. Mark Wahlberg got his violent felonies this one. And that's what I'm saying. I think that is the thing that goes state by state. I don't think that's a universal rule. I think it's a state by state thing. I do know people, and I also think, I mean, I know violent is violent, so I'm not saying this, but I also think depends on what it was, how long ago it was. It's a lot of different factors. and it goes state by state. So I'm not saying that she can't. I don't know. I mean, I would have to ask an attorney, but I think that the rules are different state by state. But I know she is in Florida, and I know Florida has recently passed a law that allows. I know it allows felons to vote, but I don't know about them expunging their record. So I don't know. We'll have to see. That's what I'm saying, Demetria. I don't know, child. I don't know. So now we are getting ready to go down to the Magic City Classic. Now let me say this. I'm here for Kenya saying be there at a certain time and everybody being on time. The one thing I noticed is that Sheree looked like she is always on time. And I can respect that. I think it is very disrespectful for a lot of these ladies that show up an hour late, 2 hours late, 3 hours late. I think that's rude. I think it's disrespectful to everybody, not your cast and the crew. It's just disrespectful. So I'm here for Kenya saying, listen, if you ain't here, you're gonna have to find your way there, okay? Um, we found out that Drew not coming because she got the flu and Candy has a prior engagement, so Candy and Drew will not be there. And I feel like Kenya already felt some kind of way because she said, basically 2 of my biggest allies ain't gonna be here, and so I already kind of feel like I'm here by myself. So I think she already feels some kind of way with Candy not coming and Drew, even though I don't know how close her and Drew are, but I guess they cool enough with Drew not coming. So, okay, so we're headed down to Birmingham, and Kenya is being very mysterious. And she told them on their way down there that they're going to be going to a cocktail party, and she doesn't really give them all the details about what's going to happen because she don't want them to know. And for one, I can understand, to a certain extent. But let me say this: I do think that was rude for Kenya not to tell the ladies to pack a dress or pack something for a cocktail party. Even though once they got to the cocktail party, it really didn't matter what they had on. But I do think it was rude because you know what you're dealing with, Kenya. You know what it is. You know what the situation is. And I do think that that's rude for you not to tell them ladies that they need to pack something for after. All you had to say was pack something for an after 5 event. That's it. If you didn't want to give them too many details, you didn't have to. But let them know, pack something for an after 5 event. And for Kenya to be like, you should always pack a little black dress. I know you should always have a little black dress in your closet. You should. I was told to always have a black dress or a black suit in your closet. But if you just think you're going on a girls trip down to homecoming, why would you necessarily pack an after 5 attire? And again, you know who you're dealing with. You are dealing with people who are on a show who feel like they have to put out a certain image. I feel like that was a little shady, and I believe she did it on purpose because I think she wanted to be the best dressed in the event or out of the crew because this was her moment, and I believe she did that. Now I'm sorry, I believe she did that on purpose to be the best dressed, or at least in her mind be the best dressed. I think she did it on purpose. Right, that's it. That's all she had to say, Karma. That's all she had to say. So it seemed like half of them were already sick while they was filming. I'm sure they all had to take COVID tests, so I'm sure it wasn't COVID, but it was probably they were either coming up off the flu. I know that. Remember when I got sick last winter and I had that flu. I had that cough for weeks. Remember? Oh my gosh! I ended up having to get two batches of medicine of antibiotics to get rid of that cough. So I feel like they weren't actively sick in the moment, but they were still dealing with the after effects of being sick. And they probably all passed that daggone flu around that Drew had. Because they were filming, they probably just passed it around to each other or their kids or whatever. So half of them seemed like they was hacking. Okay, I wouldn't have wanted to be on that bus. That would have made me. Well, I would have had the EBGBs after they was coughing and stuff on that bus, and I'm sure they got cameramen in there with them and they filming and they all close. Ooh, I'd had the heebie-jeebies. So they stop on their way because they got there early. They can't check into the hotel yet. They stop at dance studio, and of course, it's so Kenya and Mayetta can dance, but rather than have to tell Kenya and Mayetta, tell the rest of the girls what was going on, it was um, um, they had them learn how to do the Majorette dances from the HBCUs, and then they had a little dance off. But while they were doing that, Kenya and Mayetta were in the other room, in another room in the studio, practicing for Kenya's performance. Okay, cool. So they had the dance off. Now I understand why Marlo didn't win, because Kenya was like Marlo was just being a stripper. I have no idea how Sheree won, because every time I saw Sheree was offbeat and missing the choreography. How did Sheree win? I understand how Sheree won, because she was missing the choreography. I don't understand. It didn't make no sense to me. So anyway, the winner, I think Sonya should have won too. So the winner got the bigger room. Now, Sheree heard sweet. I heard bigger room. I didn't hear sweet. Though they got to the whole, well, then they went to lunch. But when they got to the hotel, Sheree in her feelings talking about something. This is not a suite. Girl, she never said you was in a suite. She said you had the bigger room. Bigger. She never said you had a suite. Hell, Kenya don't even have a suite. Okay? Kenya was late in Jamaica. And I think it's disrespectful when any of them do it to each other. So, Kenya did it as shade. Okay, well, whatever. So, we get to lunch, and I'm gonna go behind the. I'm gonna break the wall for a second. On screen, what we saw was Kenya bring up the fight between Marlo and Drew, right? That's what we saw on screen. But y'all know, like I know, production told Kenya to bring that damn fight up, because Marlo was like, "You weren't even there. You weren't even there." So then we get a flashback scene to Drew calling calling Kenya and Mayetta when they were rehearsing, and telling her all about it. She said that Marlo was being very aggressive with her, that Marlo stood over her and yelled at her. And Marlo was like, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do that. Girl, you absolutely did it. We all saw you. You stood up, you yelled in her face, and you walked out. Now, were you like yelling? No. We didn't see that. But we all saw her standing over you and yelling. We all saw Marlo, and Marlo is like 6'10", okay? We all saw Marlo standing over Drew and yelling at her. Like, you absolutely did do that. But we know the production asked her to bring that shit up. Like, come on, production asked her to bring it up. And I'm sure that's probably why Marlo was pissed off about it. But Marlo was mad because she was like, well, you weren't even there. Why are you bringing it up? You weren't there. Child, y'all bring up stuff y'all wasn't there for all the time. See, what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander, isn't Marlo? And just to put a pin in that, let me go back a minute. Coincidentally, Bryce calls Courtney while they all there at lunch, and Kenya talking about something. The only Bryce I know is the guy from a music group. I was like, that was so. Did that seem contrived to y'all? What do y'all think? Did that seem contrived? Like, and all of a sudden, then Kenya did a movie with him. She did. I remember Twa. Y'all remember them Twa movies? I remember them Twa movies. But anyway, but all of a sudden, that Kenya, the only Bryce she's ever met is this particular Bryce. I was like, that seemed very convenient. That seemed very convenient to me. So Marlo and Kenya end up getting into it, and Kenya was like, "Girl, listen, right? I know about 4-5 Bryces without even thinking real hard about it. But anyway, child, Kenya, um, Kenya and Marlo get into it, and Kenya was like, "See, Marlo, I have been nice to you. Like, I haven't been rude to you. I haven't been disrespectful. I've been really nice to you. Like, I'm not understanding where this is coming from. And Marlo was like, whatever, whatever. Like, I could talk to you how I want. And they just was going back and forth. It was real silly. But again, I think ultimately that's because Marlo didn't want that to come up. She didn't want that situation to come up at the table. That's how I feel about it. They get back to the hotel because she tells them they got to be ready to leave at 7 o'clock, and it's already 5:30, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we need to leave now. We got to hurry up and be ready." Okay. So we see everybody getting dressed. Marlo's complaining about her accommodations, talking about how tacky Kenya is. You don't leave. Last week I had concierge service, and I had this and I had that. Where's my gift? I don't have a gift. Child, you at a hotel. Go sit down somewhere and calm down. You are at a hotel, ma'am. Go sit down somewhere and calm down. It is not that serious. But neither here nor there. They get dressed to go. Now, Kenya waited a whole extra 40 minutes. She didn't leave at 7 o'clock. She left at 7:40. She waited a whole extra 40 minutes. Now, Mayetta was ready on time, but she felt like Mayetta wasn't dressed appropriately, and she told her to go change. Now, what they found out later was that Mayetta could have kept what she had on, but they ain't know that. No. Sheree was ready on time, and I think Courtney maybe, but they left Sonya and they left Marlo, and then they technically left Mayetta, but she had talked to Mayetta. Um, how are you feeling? You seem a little off with your energy. Who, me? You talking to me? I'm good. I'm just trying to pull something out this episode, child. I'm good, child. I'm just trying to pull something out this episode. So, they get to the event. Listen. Let me say this. I think this event was a reflection of our society today. And what I mean by that is this. If Kenya has the accurate information, meaning if Kenya was actually told that this was an after 5 event and this was a black tie dress to impress event, if that is exactly what she was told, the fact that people felt like it was okay to show up in jeans, the fact that people felt like it was okay to show up in like regular club attire at a black tie event. Now, I know with homecoming, they usually have an alumni event, and that's usually the expensive event because, you know, when you were a student, you couldn't afford the alumni event, right? You couldn't afford the alumni cocktail party or whatever. The tickets were like $150 or whatever, $200. And I was like, ooh, that we ain't going to that. That's for the people that already graduated and got a job, okay? Um, um, so they get there, and all of them are overdressed. They're all overdressed, and everybody is starstruck. You see the cameras are out, people walking up to them wanting hugs, people walking up to them introducing themselves. Clearly, they did not anticipate this event being filmed by the show. And I'm not sure who dropped the ball on that. I'm not sure if that was a production issue. I'm not sure if that was if Kenya was supposed to arrange something, but because it seemed to me like even if Kenya had shown up on her own, she would have been filming for the show. So I don't know whose job that was to let them know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know whose job it was to let them know that they were supposed to be filming, but clearly nobody knew, and there were no arrangements made for them to make sure that like they could film without disrupting the event. The event wasn't black tie, but that's what I said. I said if Kenya had the right information, because I don't know who dropped the ball on that, but somewhere I feel like production didn't tell somebody that they were coming. So they were there, and Marlo, of course, wanted to show Kenya how it's done, and she had a bottle of wine of champagne delivered to the table with sparklies on it. Marlo, read the room. Nobody is walking around here with sparklies. Nobody is walking around with sparklies, ma'am. Like, read the room. Then they go outside to film, and production came up to Kenya and told Kenya, okay, y'all gotta go. They don't want y'all here no more. Now, Kenya tried to play it off and said, oh, it was the lights and the cameraman walking around. It was just too much of this and this was too much of that. But at the end of the day, I think that it was just a distraction from what they had going on from the event they were trying to have, and nobody cleared it. Like you can't just show up everywhere just because and I feel like they were like, oh well, they should be happy to have us here. But I think you should have, like, you clearly should have cleared that with somebody, right? I think the sparklers was what hit the wrong spot with management. I think that was the last straw. But I definitely think that was the issue. I think that was the last straw. But they got kicked out. Now I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I can't recall I can't recall. They've been, and they weren't even. And I mean, to be fair to them, they really weren't doing anything. They weren't fighting. They weren't yelling. I mean, we've seen all of the housewives on the different franchises act a fool at events and not get kicked out. They really weren't doing anything. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't even. I mean, again, I know stuff gets edited, but if it had been an argument, we would have seen the argument. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, what was really going on? Somebody definitely dropped the ball. Somewhere somebody dropped the ball. So I'm sure they got call sheets and production had to get released and signed to be there. That's what I'm not understanding, Miss B, because they weren't blurring people's faces out. So like you said, when they blur your face out, that means that they have to get that stuff signed. And if your face is blurred, that means that you didn't give them permission. You didn't clear it. So I'm with y'all. Like I'm not arguing with y'all. But somebody dropped the ball somewhere. And maybe they did sign off on them to film, but just halfway through they decided they didn't want them there. I don't know. I don't know. But whatever it was, the ladies didn't believe that Kenya that what happened had really happened. I can say the ladies, Marlo didn't really believe. They said, well, Kenya has been known to be sneaky and all of that, so we need to make sure that Kenya ain't lying to us. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I think this was alcohol. Because even with that, it doesn't make sense. Even what y'all think Kenya did? Dropped y'all off and double back? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So they decided they're going to go to this girl's hotel room and bang on her door in the middle of the night. And yelling. I'm like, y'all literally just got put out of an event. Now y'all going to show why y'all asses don't know how to act. And Marlo thought this shit was cute. You know what I'm saying? They are banging on her door. Like, she is stomping on her door. That was and that was just a level of disrespect. I mean, that was disrespectful. I don't know. And again, y'all know that me and Kenya, I don't always see it with Kenya, but on that one, I'm with Kenya. And like Kenya said, I'm about to call the police. I'd have called the police on their ass. Because even after Kenya told them my daughter is here, she acted like she didn't care. Marlo was like, I don't believe her. I don't believe her. I don't care whether you believe her or not. That woman just told you her daughter is asleep. I don't know. I really think there was alcohol involved in that. And I'm not excusing the behavior. I'm not, because they too old to not be able to control themselves with alcohol. So I'm not excusing the behavior, but I really do think there was alcohol involved. I really do think there was alcohol involved. But that was disrespectful. So, child, that was the episode. If you have not hit the like button, hit the like button. And I will be back at 11 o'clock to talk about Candy Speak on it. I'm about to listen to it right now. Let me make sure she dropped it, because I know she was going to drop it. I saw the teaser for it. Let me make sure she dropped it, honey. Dang it, I keep hitting the wrong button. Candy Speak on it. Oh, maybe she's not dropping it tonight. Hold on, y'all. Oh, maybe she's not dropping it tonight, y'all. Okay. I thought she was dropping it tonight because I saw a preview for it. I saw the preview for it. But I don't see it now. Hold on, y'all. Oh, she's dropping it in an hour. Thank you. Come. Oh, she dropped the link. Okay, it's in an hour, so she's at So she's not doing it. She's not dropping it till 11 o'clock. Hold on, y'all. Andre, she's what time is she dropping it? She's dropping it at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay. All right. Well, listen. If she drops it at 10, we'll be at 11. But if she doesn't drop it by then, then we'll just do it in the morning. Okay. We'll just do it. If she don't drop it tonight, we'll do it in the morning. But I think she's dropping it tonight because I saw the preview for it yesterday. So okay, it says right here. Speak on it will be late tonight. She doesn't say what time though. She just says late. Yeah, she says it'll be late tonight. So they must be having. It's probably a problem with the upload. 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. Shit, that's 11 o'clock my time. All right, y'all. We might have to change this till tomorrow morning. But I'm gonna look at it. But we'll probably just come back in the morning then, because I'm off tomorrow. So maybe we can come back like tomorrow morning sometime. I'll change the time because I that means I can't even start until like 11 o'clock. I mean till 12 o'clock. Child. I ain't staying up that late. So we'll do it tomorrow, y'all. We'll be here tomorrow to talk about Speak on It. I'll change the time. All right. Mwah. Talk to y'all later. Peace. Uh oh.